Beauty can be looking outside and just enjoying the moment and enjoy the wind blowing in the leaves. Beauty is seeing somebody smile or have a genuine laughter. It's looking in the mirror and smiling yourself because you like what you see, and it's just the feeling of, that everything is nice.
Welcome to the Beauty Talk podcast, where we feature how the best medical practitioners help their patients to look better, younger, and healthier. Now, enjoy the show, and here's your host.
Daniel Gao here. I'm the host of Beauty Talk, where we feature the top medical practitioners in health and beauty, both inside and out. I have Katerina Helmn of Rejuve Medical, who is a double board certified nurse practitioner with over 12 years of experience in the aesthetic medicine industry. Recognized as one of the top 5 pioneering aesthetic providers of 2025, she is known for her innovative approach to beauty and wellness. Since 2012, Katerina has trained internationally to stay at the forefront of global aesthetic trends, combining advanced techniques with a deep understanding of natural results. Her passion lies in helping people look and feel their best through a personalized, integrative approach to aesthetic care. So, Katerina, welcome and glad to have you here.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate for warm welcome.
Yeah, so let's start off with this, Katerina. How did you first get interested in medicine?
I was interested in medicine probably at the end of high school when my parents asked me, what do I want to pursue for my bachelor's? I said that I want to become a doctor, and I grew up in very authoritative family. And
Mm,
my mom said, there is no money in uh, being a doctor in Russia. So how about you either become a dentist or do something else like accounting? So I did choose accounting because I didn't want to be a dentist.
mm.
And when I came to America at age of 20 and got my freedom, then I decided to pursue medicine as a nurse.
Okay. And so you pursued that as a nurse. And so what was it that made you want to transition over to the aesthetic side of medicine?
That's a very heavy question. Um, I found conventional medicine challenging.
Mm,
I found that medicine is not preventative. It's mostly focused on symptom management rather than finding a root cause of the disease. And it was my heart didn't feel like I'm doing something impactful, and I was doing aesthetic medicine as just a hobby, like a fun thing I did on the side, but I found it so rewarding, and I found that it was so life-changing for people, that I decided to transition into doing it full time.
okay. And so why start your own practice? Why start Rejuve? I mean, a lot of people just go down the path of I'll work for a med spa, I'll work for a plastic surgeon's office. Why start your own practice?
So I actually got furloughed during COVID. I had a job at a busy med spa here in downtown San Francisco, and I couldn't find a job.
Mm,
And nobody was hiring. It was San Francisco was completely shut down. It was like a ghost town. So I decided to create a job for myself. My mom is entrepreneur. She owns her own business in Russia. So I grew up helping her out with her business. So I did have some foundational skills. So I just, opened up a small office, started really small and, grew organically.
okay. So now that you have this practice, what are some of the common treatments that you say that your clients come to you for?
Well, of course, everybody loves treatments that are kind of have this instant gratification,
Mm.
which are Botox, dermal fillers, some, laser rejuvenation treatments, and of course, weight loss, which is really popular these days.
Mhm. Okay. And I want to talk a little bit more on the health side, because this is something you mentioned before, as far as the thing you didn't like so much about medicine was that it wasn't so preventative. It was a little bit more of just treating the symptoms, but not the root cause. So, is that something that you also integrate within your practice as far as looking at the overall health of somebody? Could you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, yeah, this is actually something that I discovered for myself during COVID as well. I discovered functional medicine and non-conventional medicine for treating diseases, and I got my certification in anti-aging medicine. And, now I am going back to treating health issues again, but from a different perspective. And the way I came to this was, women over and over again, starting their 40s, early 50s, complain that their skin just became very like dull and dry and saggy, and their sleep just got like non-existent, and there was just this very repeating issues that are linked to hormonal changes, or this young girls that came to get their like chin lasered off, and it just didn't do anything. The hair would just grow over again. So that led me to learning more about health and treating these symptoms more from the holistic approach. You can laser somebody in their 50s, but if their estrogen is going down, the efficacy of this treatment will be very low. Whereas, if you treat somebody for their hormonal decline, their weight will go down, their skin will start looking good, they will feel good about themselves. And same with men. I see men with low testosterone, and I see how they are feeling alive again. Unfortunately, there are a lot of this online platforms that will give you anything you want for a low price. But I think what's missing is that individualized approach and looking at the entire person. And if somebody's having issues, there are more tests than the insurance will cover that can uncover some deeper problems like nutritional deficiencies, endocrine deficiencies, and so on and so forth.
Okay. So a lot of what you're talking about, yeah, and you mentioned it as far as the hormones go. I'm assuming that for that, that's hormone replacement therapy. Is that correct?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So
Mm-hmm.
with the hormone replacement therapy, could you talk a little bit about that? Like basically what is it? I think some people have heard about hormone replacement therapy, but I think what most people would imagine of it, it's oh, for men, it's just getting more testosterone. For women, it's just getting more estrogen. So
Mm-hmm.
could you shed a little bit more light on what hormone replacement therapy is and in what situations would you look at it as a potential solution?
Mm-hmm. So, we are, born with hormones, with certain levels of hormones, and throughout our life transition, those hormone levels decline. And, a lot of conventional practitioners will say, well, that's a part of normal aging. But, you know, uh, I mean, there are a lot of things we can do to actually feel good about ourselves, about our life, about our health. And that can be seen from like in so many different processes, like for example, how it's harder to build muscle as we age for both women and men. And that's because, our testosterone, our growth hormone decline. So that's harder. And, and then this leads to, for women, falls, fracture bones, and just quality of life later in life is not as good as it could be. So there is this huge um, point of conflict, which was Health Initiative that did study oral hormones 20 years ago, and they linked hormones to cancer,
Mm,
which was under studies. It's a false claim. It's already revealed that it's a false claim because women were given tons of hormones, which is not good. So bioidentical hormone therapy, it is what it's basically hormones, and they can be in forms of creams, patches. It's usually like a topical application, and you can get these hormones that are synthetically made, so they're different in chemical composition than our own hormones.
mm,
Um, and there are also hormones that are chemically identical to our chemical hormones. So, for example, I prefer creams because I find it better and easier because, like, for example, amount of hormones that I will need might be different from another person. So it's very customizable, very adjustable process of finding a right amount of hormones for you to feel good. And to feel good, I mean by like, it's like, for example, estrogen has 300 function in the body.
wow.
And it's memory, it's bone, it's skin, it's your gut. Like it really has an immense power to make you feel um better, as you age.
Mm,
So yeah, basically hormones are this little messengers that just help to replenish your hormones to a level that feels comfortable for you.
okay. And for those hormones, how I guess relevant is it to different stages in your life? Like, particularly, I want to focus a little bit more on the women's side, like
Mm.
during the pregnancy time, during perimenopause. Um, how does the hormone treatment differ at each of those different stages of life? Is it quite drastic, or is it still going to be very much based on the individual that it's just every single person is different, kind of no matter what stage of life they're in. It's almost always going to be a customized solution.
Yeah, because we go through different stages. I mean, with men, it's a little more straightforward. With women, I see women for like androgen issues, meaning like their just hormones are off, and I see women in their early 20s. And then I see women that are trying to conceive, and that's also, they're having issues because of hormonal imbalances or other issues. So that would be a completely different treatment. And then I see women that already went through, childbirth, and they are entering perimenopause. And I also see women in menopause that already went through the process, but they are having some bone density issues, and they want a better quality of life as well. So I see women throughout almost entire lifespan.
Okay. And how relevant is testosterone for women? Because I think most people think that, oh, testosterone is just
Right.
for men, estrogen is just for women. Is there some part that women also need testosterone or not really, not so much?
Yeah, there's this saying about the man, if your man is complaining and acting like a woman, then he needs testosterone. And for women, if they are exhausted and they don't have any sex drive, and they don't have any motivation. That's usually because, and it's so interesting with our lifestyle, what I see over and over again. I see the successful women that are business owners that, they have a lot of social pressure to perform, and they just spend all of their testosterone, and their testosterone is low. And
Mm.
the more successful woman is, the lower her testosterone is, which
Hmm.
is very interesting.
Hmm. Is it lower because she's using it, or just from her lifestyle? It's just she just
Uh,
has
uh,
testosterone.
so I mean, it's a complex of stress. Basically,
Mm.
stress will divert those pathways that create normal physiological levels of hormones. So uh, usually it's the chronic stress, or just chronic, how would I say it? It's just the chronic um need to perform.
Mm. So I guess it's psychological, and the psychological is then affecting the body and the
Yes,
hormone levels.
yes, yes.
Okay. So, so then where would somebody start with this? Like we talked about hormone replacement therapy, but how would somebody know that they should even look into this? Like, are there certain symptoms that are very common? Like, I think you mentioned a few, but if you can just summarize, like, what are some of the symptoms, the common symptoms that people would experience where they'd be like, you know what, I should start looking to see if hormone replacement therapy would help.
Yeah, yeah. So the most common thing that people come with is sleep. Uh, Waking up several times and sometimes not being able to go to sleep. I mean, that's something that will just imagine if you're not sleeping very well every single night. So you can really sustain a normal activity with this for very long. So that's like number one thing that women come with. Another one is, like brain fog, very forgetful. It just has to write everything down. Comes in the room and forgets what she came for. Another one is fatigue, just feeling tired, despite of coffee, or, even getting a full night rest. And, there are subtle signs like dry skin, low sex drive. Um, so these are kind of more aesthetic reasons that I see women come with. And for men, uh, uh, interestingly enough, it's depression.
Hmm.
Depression, weight gain are the most common kind of things that men come with. Um, and yeah, unfortunately, like I said, if a person like this, if a man goes to a primary care doctor, says, I'm feeling depressed, I can't lose weight, he will get a prescription for antidepressants without even checking any labs to see if that's actually something else. So that's when this individualized approach comes in, because, like I said, one person might need this much, one person needs this much. So, when they come in, we talk about the symptoms, because sometimes it could be, somebody is already taking some medications and they can cause some nutritional deficiencies, like B vitamin deficiencies can cause depression, some, psychological problems. So there are several tests that I can do, but I do usually a very, like, kind of my customized panel, and we go from there. We see what the problems are, and if I need any additional testing, then we will have to get to that. But I usually can tell, by the symptoms, by that initial conversation, what might be the cause.
Okay. Now, I'm sure that you get a lot of you hear a lot of misconceptions or a lot of myths when it comes to hormone replacement therapy. So, what would you say are some of the most common misconceptions you hear about this type of treatment from your patients and your clients?
Cancer. people are afraid of getting cancer.
Mm.
That's not true.
Hmm.
You know, even people like if for women that, depending on what kind of breast cancer they had and they are in remission, sometimes you can prescribe, you know, a little bit of estrogen therapy. Um, but again, it's very like there's like a very specific way to do it. But even women that already had cancer in remission can also be on estrogen therapy.
Mm.
So,
Okay.
if prescribed correctly, if monitored regularly, is that's not what causes cancer,
Yeah.
unfortunately, or fortunately.
Fortunately, yeah.
Many, there's so many other things that we eat, like processed foods and
Mm.
sugar, that actually cause cancer. So it really breaks my heart when somebody is, when we're having a discussion and they're like, "Oh no, I'm never gonna do it because it causes cancer." And I'm like, "Oh my God." Yeah, I'm sure you are doing a lot of things that actually can cause cancer.
Yeah. Okay. So then when it comes to this education process, how do you approach this educational process of sharing this information, really showing the benefits of this treatment, and also having to dispel some of these myths? How do you approach that educational part of it?
I mean, it's also individualized. People are different in how they perceive that information. Some people are really easy. I share some articles and just kind of like, okay, like I have a couple of articles that are like actually talking about this healthcare initiative, and they actually say that that was misinterpreted study. Um, and I can tell, and I can tell usually, you know. It's women that already heard it and they're looking into bioidentical hormone
Mm.
therapy.
See.
So they have a little bit of at least a little bit of curiosity. And for those that really need it but might not have enough education, they're definitely having symptoms, but they're like, okay, I'm just gonna suffer in my own misery. I just tell like there are options available, when you are ready, then come back and we'll have a conversation. And usually some time passes and those people come back and then we have conversation.
Mm. Okay. So let's say that someone's looking for a provider that provides the hormone replacement therapy. What would you say is the most important piece of advice you can give to them as far as how do they choose that right provider, that right person who has that knowledge, who's able to educate them, like you mentioned?
Um,
Like, how do they
um,
choose that right person?
I would definitely stay away from this like online platforms.
Mm.
There's like a subscription because they usually have this plan for everybody. There's zero training involved in their providers. So they like very standardized procedures. You start there, we wait, and I have a lot of people that come from those platforms and they're very unhappy because they say, well, they started me on this, I didn't feel anything, and then they just refuse to like adjust my dose, even though I was feeling awful. So that's definitely the feedback that I'm getting from people that I see in my practice. And of course, I would definitely talk to providers that have some kind of official training in hormone therapy because you can get training like, I don't know, it's like there's this trainings that are a couple of days. They also give you this protocol, like very standard protocol, and you just follow it. So I would go for a provider that is, certified by either American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine or Institute of Functional Medicine. Those are two like main functional medicine bodies of education in the space right now. The rest are just weekend courses. So and those two are actually, take years to complete.
Mm.
And I would look for a provider that is listening, like more a provider that's listening to you, listening to your symptoms, uh, asking a lot of questions, really is trying to figure out, from very different pieces of your life, what's going on. Not just like, okay, here's the lab panel, we're gonna do hormones, but somebody who wants to kind of get a full picture and then, do their investigation and figure out what would be the appropriate treatment. And of course, somebody who's been, going through this journey themselves. So, for example, why I got drawn to this, I was diagnosed with PCOS. So, I had some hormone imbalances. I had to be on birth control from age 17, which I stopped when I learned about it. And then, also PCOS is challenging for fertility. The most for unfertility non-fertility cases are with in women diagnosed with PCOS. So I've done that work on myself. And once I'm done with childbirth and having babies, I'm definitely going on BHRT
Mhm.
because I'm already feeling it.
Yeah. Well, I guess it's you're the best example. You do it on yourself, and then you're the best success story because you can speak from
Right,
that point of view that hey, you went through this, you were suffering through this, and then you went through this treatment, and it was able to help you turn your life around to really improve your health, have kids, and then just have a better quality of life.
right, right, right.
Okay. Now, I'm curious, Katerina, where do you think that the future of functional medicine, wellness, and even aesthetics, where do you think it's going, the future?
We are entering a very interesting time. I don't know if you've noticed, but the aesthetic medicine and functional medicine trends are changing rapidly.
Mhm.
We just started this GLP-1 revolution. I feel like it's taken over. Another very, very promising field is peptides.
Mhm.
Uh,
Mhm.
that is definitely going to be a pioneer in regenerative medicine and health optimization because you can, again, improve your quality of life by just helping your body to synthesize certain peptides or amino acids to provide a better, you know, tissue recovery, better cognition, help with inflammation, autoimmune disorders, and stuff like that. And of course, I feel like as we are learning more about healthcare initiative and we're learning that hormones are actually our friends if are given appropriately, we're looking into much longer lifespans, like
Mhm.
beyond 100 years for sure.
Okay. So it looks like things are moving in the right direction. There's a lot of new
Yeah,
technology, I
yeah,
guess I'll call it.
yeah. And even aesthetic medicine, it is so fascinating because, uh, I trained, I'm from Russia, so I trained a lot in Europe and I'm very well versed in treatments that are popular in Europe and Asia. And it's so funny how like I got my training in like skin boosters. It was like my very first training I did back in 2012.
Mhm.
And we are just starting to use the skin boosters here in the US.
Yeah. Seems like the US is a little bit behind Europe and Asia in that regard, and
Yeah, I
aesthetic
think
side.
about a decade for
Oh,
sure. Yeah,
wow.
yeah. But yeah, like I know that in Europe, it's more about, kind of regenerative treatments, more energy-based devices, a little bit of Botox, but mostly skin boosters, less of dermal fillers. So, we're definitely, I think, in the right direction of just aging gracefully and helping our own skin to be in a good condition rather than just augment and change.
Okay. So it's really focusing on the health side, the wellness side, not just the superficial side.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Got it. Now, for your practice, Rejuve Medical, what's your vision for your practice?
Oh, what's my vision? My vision is definitely creating programs and plans that incorporate you know, inside out rejuvenation. You know, utilizing peptides, utilizing hormones where needed, and combine it with some aesthetic medical treatments. So, it's just like all covering approach
Mm,
to help women to feel good from inside and outside as well.
a great vision to have. Now,
Hmm.
Katerina, I have one last question for you, but before I ask it, I do want to point people to your website at rejuvesf.com. Now, my last question for you is what does beauty mean to you?
Oh, it means so many things. Beauty can be looking outside and just enjoying the moment and enjoy the wind blowing in the leaves. Beauty is seeing somebody smile or have a genuine laughter. Um, it's looking in the mirror and smiling yourself because you like what you see, and it's just the feeling of, that everything is nice.
Mm, that's a very good way to put it. Very good way to
Yeah,
put
yeah.
it.
Everything is nice.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Well, there you go. Katerina sharing your expertise. So, Katerina, where can people contact you in your practice?
So you can definitely drop a line on the website. You can leave contact information. You can also call us at 415-712-1937. You can text this number as well, or you can email us at info@rejuvesf.com.
Awesome. Well, Katerina, this is great. Thank you for coming on and thank you for sharing your message.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
Thanks for listening to the Beauty Talk podcast. Any questions, please contact the practice directly with the contact information provided during the show. We'll see you again next time. Bye for now.